Shalom, everybody. Thank you for joining us today from all over the world, around 48 countries. Thank you for taking time in your very busy schedule and joining us today. Also, notice that there are so many professionals with us today: CEOs, project managers, government officials, medical doctors, and so many other professionals. As I said, from 48 countries. We are very thrilled, and I really want to thank you so much taking time in your busy schedule to join us. I also want to thank Israeli embassies across the world for promoting this lecture on their online platforms. I want to start this lecture by showing you a short video about our organization. Mishav, Israel Agency for International Development Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Let's watch this short video, 2 minutes together, and we'll be back to talk about branding once again.
Mishav, Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation, was launched 60 years ago to share the know-how and technologies which provided the basis for Israel's own rapid development. Mishav aims to empower those living in poverty in a holistic and innovative way and support fellow nations and communities in their struggle to achieve sustainable development, placing people at the heart of its initiatives. Our agricultural programs use unique techniques and farming methods to increase sustainability, food security, and hunger eradication. We believe that investment in education is an investment in our future and an agent for change around the world. We coordinate Israel's official humanitarian assistance, building medical facilities and supplying medicine in the wake of earthquakes, floods, famine, and other disasters. Mishav promotes innovative entrepreneurship as a means of advancing growth and prosperity. We believe that gender equality and women's empowerment are central to reach sustainable development. Our philosophy is to leave no one behind. During 6 decades, Mishav has trained over 300,000 people from more than 140 countries and has established development projects worldwide. Mishav, Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation, is celebrating 60 years of sharing its experience and partnering for a better world.
Welcome back. My name is Yehuda Michael. I am a program director at MCTC. My background is in business consulting, and I hold an MBA degree from Brandeis University in the USA. I work for one of the 3 Mishav centers called MCTC, founded in 1961 by our former Prime Minister Golda Meir and Mina Ben-Zvi, MCTC founding director through Mishav. Currently, we are working in 150 countries across the world. We focus on 3 main areas. The first one is entrepreneurship and innovation. As many of you know, Israel is named as a startup nation. Many companies are established here in Israel and reach the world. I can give you an example, companies like Waze, Move It, Drop Irrigation System, and so many high-tech companies and cyber and health tech are established here in Israel. We share our experience in this topic. The second topic is early childhood education that focus on the building the next generation. And the third subject we're focusing on is sustainable community development that focus on socio-economic topic related to the society. We believe that women contribution is essential for countries' development. So we stress gender equality is the key for sustainable development. So this is about us. Let's go and talk about today's topic about branding. Although you might be in your early stage or even advanced as an entrepreneur, you always need to dream to grow big every time. Today we'll discuss how to brand your business, protect your brand, and grow your business. Many people assume that branding is just having some sort of logo and name for your business. However, branding is more than that. It is about reflecting your business identity, value, mission, and goal to your customers. Some businesses have a perfect logo or website. However, it's not really associated with who they are as a business, and failed to convince customers. On the other hand, some businesses didn't spend enough time to build their brand and lost the values that could be added if they were doing a good brand strategy. And once you build a strong brand, your customers will be loyal to your business, product, and service. So branding is really great. So today we will talk about elements of brands, including choosing a business name, how to choose a trade name and a trademark. We'll see the differences and the similarities. We'll talk about rebranding, the reason for rebranding and its use. We will also talk about branding strategies. We'll discuss about brand extension, how that you can use that, or co-branding and brand licensing and its benefit. We'll also talk about how to build your brand identity, which is the most essential topic, and about brand personality. Finally, we'll discuss about brand as an organization, which is the attribute of brand as an organization rather than for product and service. What if you're an organization or a nonprofit, how branding actually can help you? During this lecture, we will also talk about the legal aspects, from like naming your business, when you license your business brand, when you co-brand with other companies. There's all sort of legal things that we will talk about. But I want to say that these legal terms are differ from country to country. I'm not a lawyer, that's not my profession. So what I will discuss here will be a general aspects that you have to see and understand when it comes into branding. So by the end of this lecture, I hope you will be able to implement this knowledge that you learn to your business, either it is a small business or big business, a medium business of any size, because branding is not only for big businesses, it could be for everyone. If you have any question, please write it down into the chat. So at the end of the lecture, I will try to address this as much as I can. Okay, let's define branding. Let's start by defining it. What is actually branding is? Your brand is derived from three things. The first one is who you are, and the second one is who you want to be, and the third one is who people perceive you to be. So these three elements are what creates your brand. Branding definitely going to differentiate your business from other competitors that in the market. If you have an effective brand strategy, it gives you a very increasing competitive market in the big market. So the foundation of your brand is your logo, but it's not only that. It includes your website, it includes your packaging and promotional materials, your distribution channel, advertising, what you communicate visually, verbally. All this is part of your brand strategy. Building a branding is not just an overnight work. It requires time. It requires knowledge and creativity. So it's a process. It's not something will happen overnight. When you work towards creating your brand, at the very least, you must answer some questions. The first one is like, what is your company's mission? You have to understand and know what is your company mission is. And the second one is, what are the benefits and features that your product or service is giving? So you have to really also know this. And the third question is, what do you customers or other potential customers is thinking about your company? So you have to know their thinking also. And the most important aspect, and the fourth question is, what quality do you want your customers to associate with your company? Because branding is when you have a good quality, that is what brings your marketing give you a competitive advantage. So quality is very important. Of course, you need to do your research, learn the needs, the habits, the desire of your current and potential customers, and you have to know what they think. You don't guess what they think. You really need to do research. You really need to gather actual data to understand that. People ask, what is the difference between marketing and branding? My short answer will be, the marketing is something that convinces you to buy a particular thing. Like, let's say a car, a BMW, a new model of BMW 2020. You might gonna love to buy this BMW because you just saw an advertisement and you like a specific feature of it, and you buy that product. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna buy it next year, because you might gonna buy a Mercedes or other cars because if they have a better feature. But when it comes into the branding, if you like one brand, that is what will gonna determine you to buy that specific car, let's say BMW, for the rest of your life. So the branding is something that brings you that loyalty between you and your customers. So the difference is, marketing is just something that will sell you something right now, but the branding is that brings you the loyalty and make your customers to stay with you no matter what. So branding is very, very important. Why it is very important? Because of its overall impact for your company. Branding can change how you perceive your business, and it can increase your brand awareness. Branding can give you recognition when you enter into a new market. When you enter into a new market, you're competing with the existing business. Let's say you want to produce the shoes. There are so many factories that's producing shoes already in the market when you enter into this new market. But your branding is the one that differentiates you from the others. I'm not only saying like the company's name, but the brand, the message behind the branding that we will discuss about today. Another thing is, branding is really increasing your business value. Branding is important when you try to generate a further business. A very strong and established brand can increase your business value by giving you recognition in that specific industry. Again, you don't need to be like a very big industry. This is not the point. This is not only for big businesses. Any size business can benefit from branding. For example, I can give you just like, if you are opening a restaurant in your own hometown, and if you have a good brand and if people really, really trust you, they don't mind to stand in a line to get into your restaurant, or to come from out of town to join your restaurant, even though there's many restaurants around in that area. Your branding will bring you that competitive advantage and add some sort of value to your business. Of course, branding generates you a new customers. It also improves your employer's pride, and it motivates your employers more to work in your company. When somebody is working in a well-known place, they're motivated, they're happy to come, or to say for the people that I'm actually working in this restaurant, in this shop, in this business, to other people. So it is really, really a good idea to have a very strong brand. The more you develop a good brand, the more you create recognition to your company, the more you increase your business value, you generate more trust, and you get more motivated employers. So it have a lot of direction how branding actually can benefit you. Let's talk about the brand elements of branding. There are 5 elements of branding, but I will discuss some of them with you. The first one is a brand name. Selecting the name that you want for your business. There are 7 different categories of name that pretty much every business is filling up into the 7 categories. So let's talk about them one by one. to think about naming business usually sounds like very easier, but it's not easy. It's not just you pick some name and then that will work out. You have to think about it when you're actually naming your business, because first of all, it's part of your branding strategy. Second of all, it is very important because that's the first thing that people will know about your business. So naming is very important. The first way of brand naming is sometimes entrepreneurs name the company after the founder to keep the vision or the belief of their founders. And it happens a lot in this world. I can give you an example. Disney World is named after Walt Disney. Ford, the car, is named after Henry Ford. And there's so many actual companies named after in this kind of way. It is definitely okay if you want to name your company after your name. The couple of things you have to make sure is, first of all, you have to make sure that your name is easy. Your name is easier to your customers to remember. And the second one is it also easy to pronounce it. So if these two things work, it's okay to name your business after yourself. Even if it would be more effective, even if you're well known in your community, in your society, that also really work very well. So so go for it. The other thing is some companies decided to name their business based on another person's name that is known for their customer segment. I'll give you an example to illustrate this. If you know this electric car, Tesla, it is named after Nikola Tesla. And Nikola Tesla is the person who is known for his electrical engineering achievement. So when Elon Musk developed this car, which is an electric car, Tesla, he named it after Tesla because it's appealing for people who will buy some sort of electric car, because it is something that is related with them. So it is also a very strategic way of naming your business. You can think about it like in your local context also, to name under somebody who is known in your country for his work, and your business is actually related with that somehow. But you have to think about it must be related. It's important that it is related. The second way of naming business is it's a descriptive kind of naming your business. It is literally telling you exactly what your company is doing. The problem is, like, there's around 200 million companies worldwide this day, and it is very difficult to find actual name, like the descriptive name saying like, oh, this business, that business. If you find, it's very nice. If you don't find, it is very difficult, because we will talk about it later, but you have to make sure like your business name is not similar with other businesses that have similar business like you. So you have to be careful. So that's the difficulties, to find a name, descriptive name that exactly what you do, to be registered with that, because it's mostly taken. But if you find that this is really a good name. The other way of naming your company is using acronyms. We all know CNN, BBC, or H&M, and all this kind of very well-known organizations and companies across the world. One thing I will say about this is you have to really check those acronyms, especially you can, in terms of the internet use, if you have to Google it and see like if that acronym is already taken, and if it is taken, in what context it's taken, how much it is known, because sometimes you want to name your restaurant ABC, and actually ABC stands for some prison in your own country, and it confuses people, and we're going to mislead people to find you easily when they search you. So you have to really check how that acronyms is actually can be used, and if it is not taken already. So you have to really careful when you use acronyms. But you also can use it like very strategically, which means I can give you an example. For instance, if you guys, KFC, which is a Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's an American business, is mostly now known for KFC instead of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Because fried chicken is not really healthy these days, and a lot of people are avoiding to have fats and so on and so forth. So it's like more strategic and nice to use it as KFC instead of Kentucky Fried Chicken. So if you think about this kind of a strategic way, acronyms will work also very well. But it needs to work a little bit to see if that is what you want. The other way of naming is associative, which means associative name works by reflecting some sort of imaginary and meaning back into your brand. I think it's good to give you an example. For instance, Amazon, the biggest delivery company in the world, is named after the largest river in the world, Amazon, and it's kind of associating the largeness of the river and how long that they can stretch into the company, as Amazon has also become a very big, well-known international company. So you still can use it. You can make associative in your country context also, something that is known for public, something that is good, you can use it and associate it to your business somehow. The other way is in terms of the language use. Many countries across the world, I know there's 48 countries represented in this lecture, so I want to say a lot of countries have more than one language spoken in their country, and one is like a national language, and the rest is people don't know that much about it. If you're deciding to name your business after a less known language in your country, you have to make sure that it is easy to remember for people, and also it's easy to pronounce for people, because if it is very tough to pronounce or not at all easy to remember, it will lose some sort of, the people don't remember it. So it's very important that you make sure that happens. The other way of naming your business is as a kind of abstract way. Abstract is like the names that doesn't have real meaning in any language. You just made it up and then come up with some sort of name. And that is, for instance, I can give you a real world example. The watch Rolex is just made up words. Sounds very nice. It sounds really good. There's a lot of brands, by the way, also named just by making up some sort of letters. If you are creating this kind of names, it's really good. Just make sure that you created it and ask people how that sounds, and if it sounds good, and you can use it. But you have to ask people and see how that goes. Once you decided on what type of name you want, you need to decide what the name to say, like what the name have to say. And the best brand name is stand for a big idea that translates into some sort of emotional appeal for your customers. It's very important to connect it with also with emotional appeal. I can give you an example, like when you think about Nike, the shoes, it's all about winning. That's like the emotional connection that they brought up to us by marketing it, by branding it on that way. Or when you think about the Apple iPhone, it's about simplicity, usability, technology. This is what they tell us, and that worked it out. So you have to somehow create that emotional appeal to the people. About the brand name, let's talk about the trade name. Sometimes business owners want to operate under a different name other than the company legal name. A trade name is different from your business legal name. Business owners can use their trade name for advertising, sales purpose, so many purposes. If you want to use a trade name, you have to register it. I can give you an example of what it is. Like, for instance, McDonald's is the company's trade name, but the actual name is McDonald's Corporation. So that's what I'm saying by saying this. You don't have the legal ending that's needed for the tax purposes. So that is what it is when you talk about trade name. Let's talk about trade characters. Trade characters are some sort of animal, people, or object that are used to advertise a good or service. That really associated with your good and service, and like create some sort of memory to your audience. Trade characters are key elements of building your brand for your even for your product or for your service or for your organization. Such characters, I think, stays for along with people's mind and remind the customers to buy your product and service. You can see the Mentos and Mentos as an example that is like really staying in people's mind. Geico is a car insurance company based in the US. These characters are really really easy to remember and can be attached with people's mind. I think you should need to think about it in the context of your country and try to build such a trade character, and you can use it. You don't have to actually like advertise it in a TV or something. You can use your social media platform to advertise your business, including using the trade characters. These days, like there's a lot of animation companies that are allowing the services in an affordable price. So it worth to check it. There's also many Israeli companies doing that. It's really worth to check it. It is very nice. It's a great way of selling your product or putting your product in people's minds. So trade character is important to use. Let's move into a trademark. Now, what is actually a trademark is? A trademark is a recognizable, it could be a symbol, a phrase, a word, or a sign that represent a specific product and legally differentiated from all product and service of its kind. So the trademark is more about the legal aspect of it. Your trademark can be your logo, your slogan, simply a name of your product or your service. It's important that you remember, I think I mentioned it before also, your business trademark cannot use a symbol or a brand name that it looks very similar or sound very similar or has some sort of similar meaning with the already existing product or service. So you have to be very, very careful when it comes into the trademark. Especially if this product and service are very similar to each other, you can't name it very close to that company if they already registered it as a trademark. So you have to be careful about it. I think generally speaking, when you receive an approval on the trademark application, you hold several legal rights for your trademark. That includes you are the only one allowed to use it, you are the only one allowed to copy or to profit from or to distribute it, that approved trademark for you. So so it is good to have that legal background. Some people, I think, found it very difficult to distinguish between trademark, a patent, and a copyright. Let's talk about the difference between those three just to make it clear for people. A trademark is something that protects elements related to your product and service. Whereas a patent is something that protects an original invention you did for a certain period of time. So it's more a safeguard kind of thing. And the last one, the copyright, protects the work of authorship, things like movies, music, some sort of art, and poems. All these things are protected under copyright. The biggest idea in all of them is protecting, but in very different aspect of intellectual property. So why you actually need a trademark? It's very simple: to protect the product and service that belonging to you. And if somebody uses it without your permission, you actually can sue those people, and then you can gain money out of it. And also you can protect your actual product and service right. Of course, you have to check it into your country context, how to register your trademark, how that works. But generally, this is what a trademark is. Okay, now let's talk about some brand strategies. The first one is a brand extension, which is the use of an established brand name in new product or service categories. If you have a successful brand, that will help your company to launch a new product or service more easily. For instance, Nike, the shoes company, the main product is shoes, but now they're extending their brand into sunglasses, a soccer ball, or golf equipment. They're extending it, and they get a very easy approval from the customers. The reason is, if your customer trust and approve and appreciate your existing product and service, it is most likely they will also accept the new product in the same brand. It doesn't mean like they always are gonna accept it, but it definitely will help you if you have a good brand already established. So, but you have to always make sure you maintain the same quality and satisfaction to your customers when you do this. And it is very important, because otherwise customers are not gonna stay for something not in the same quality. So, but I think in the small business context also is like, you can extend your brand. If you have only a restaurant and serving food, and people are thinking about having more drinks, you can add that line into also, and people are gonna like it if your establishment is very well known and very good place to be recommended by people. So it is always helpful for any size of business. As your brand grows, let's talk about the co-branding. When your brand grows, your customers' desire and expectation also grow with it. As a small business, sometimes it becomes very difficult for you to address all the customer needs. In a very simple way, the co-branding is, when you have a business and people come and ask you, do you have this specific product every time, but you don't have it? Even if you want to produce or you want to add this specific product or service that over and over ask it to you, you don't have the capacity, the ability to produce this, but you notice there is a market for it. So if you notice that is the scenario, you should use a brand licensing. Licensing your brand means you give another company a permission to use your brand, logo, name, or other intellectual property on their product. So they'll produce it, and then you're gonna sell it, and they're gonna sell it. You're gonna have some sort of benefit for both parties. First of all, you have to find the right company to cooperate with to do a co-branding. And the question that you have to ask is, if that specific company also has the ability and the capacity to produce this product that you have a lot of asking for. If they can't actually produce it, it's useless to co-brand with the other company, because they will be in the same page like you. They can't actually produce in the amount of quantity that you're looking for. So you have to select that actual company who do have the ability to produce, and then you still sell it. You might gonna say, like, why shouldn't I brought another company's product if people are asking me this product, a specific product? It is important that you're keeping your own business in your own brand as much as you can, other than bringing out, especially if it have a lot of demand for that specific product. So you have more benefits. So it is good to have it. But as I said, you have to be very careful with whom you're doing the co-branding. You have to sign a legal documents that explain everything. Your audience will associate your brand identity with your product and service. And that identity is what strengthens the connection between your company and your customers. Let's talk about the way how to develop a very strong brand identity, because the brand identity is very important. First, you have to know who you are and who you want to be as a business. who you are as a brand is made up of a few key elements that you have to assess. The first thing is your mission. Your mission means why your business exists and what is your business overall goal. So this is the first thing that you have to know when you develop your business, your brand identity. The second one is your value, some sort of measurable benefit customers can get when they buy your product and service. Why to buy from you? What value you are adding to them? Your brand must to answer that question. The other one is your brand personality. I will talk more about it in the next slide about brand personality. And the last one is your unique positioning, which means how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors? So you have why to come to you when there is an existing shoes factory, why to come to you when there is an existing restaurant or there's existing many businesses. What is your positioning? What makes you different? And these elements are what define your brand. And before you start building your brand identity, it is important you have a very clear understanding of each of these elements. And you have to understand, in order to get into that, I think there's a few questions you can ask yourself. First one is, why did you start this business from the beginning? You just sit down and think about why you start this business and write it down on a paper. The other question is like, what benefits and values are important to you as a business? You also can sit down and write down that. What makes you special? You want to sit and write down that also. If you can answer all those questions, you will come up with a mission, value, and positioning, which will be really important to set up yourself. Your brand identity is what sets you up, like really separates you from your competitors in the market and show your customers who you are and what they have to expect from you and why they have to come to you instead of going to others. So it's very important that you have this positioning, this brand identity very well built. Yeah, let's talk about brand personality. Brand personality is a set of human characters that are attributed to your brand name. It means it is always helping your business to shape like your product and service and mission together. Customers are very likely to purchase the brand that is really similar to their personality. So if you can able to create this brand personality, people who are associated with that personality will buy your product. There is, I think, 5 main types of brand personalities. The first one is excitement. It includes elements such as like a spirit, like a carelessness, useful happiness, that kind of stuff. If you noticed, a lot of like soft drink companies, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, are creating that personality in their product and service. If there's a sports tournament, you always see like this very happy people coming together with a Coca-Cola, drinking it and becoming satisfied. That is the brand personalities that they create. So when you're very thirsty, when you're going to watch a football match, or when you have gathering with the people, you remember this product and say like, oh, let's have a Coca-Cola or Pepsi. So that is a kind of personalities they create, and that is how it helps them. The other personality is sincerity. It includes elements like kindness, thoughtfulness, family value towards the family value. There's a lot of places that they market themselves as a family-friendly place. So a lot of people, when they think about going out as a family, they go to that place. Disney World could be a good example, but there's also a lot of restaurants and many places they associate themselves and link their brand with this brand personality. The third personality is more rigidness. This is like have an element of roughness, toughness, outdoor, athletic. Once again, Nike could be a good example. You see these athletes all the time advertising this company and how they're always winning, and you see that. And when you want to be like, go to the gym, when you want to do something, when you want to feel you're a winner, when you want to go there, you associate, you want to buy this product. And that work for these companies very, very well. There is another one, is another kind of personalities, competence, have elements of success, accomplishment, influence. I think iPhone is doing it very well in this case. The last kind of brand personality is sophistication, which has an elements of prestigious, elegant, that kind of elements. I think a lot of fashion companies are using that, like when you feel very sophisticated, very prestigious, you use this very known brands. Women can carry a Prada purse, or a man can go with a Hugo Boss perfume, and all those sort of things. This very big, well-known companies are linking themselves and create that brand personality, so as people can come and buy them. In order to choose a brand personality, you should consider these 5 elements, of course, and choose one. But you must ask yourself one thing: how your customers want to perceive you. Do you want your business to be as a family-friendly place? So link your business with that personality. If you want your place to be associated as a luxury place, so look into that and make it happen. Or innovative place, and so on and so forth. So it is up to you, but it worked for many companies. It can also work to your business. You can say, oh, I am a family-friendly place. So you just always, when you think about going with your family, come to your place, come to my place, I mean. But you need to create that brand personality. Let's talk about a little bit about branding as an organization. Not only business needs to create a very strong brand, rather organization, including nonprofit, also need to have a very strong brand. As a nonprofit organization, your brand should reflect the people you serve, the culture, your value, the program that you're doing in your organization. All this need to be included in your organizational brand. For example, I can give you an example. If your organization aim to promote concerns, your audience is, I'm sorry. For instance, let's give you an example of a real example institution. When you think about Red Cross, for instance, it gives them this. Red Cross is a well-known brand, and it gives them a very competitive advantage for the organization when it comes into voluntary, when it comes into donation. It gives them a very competitive advantage. If your organization, for instance, aim to promote concerns related to environment, let's say, you need to brand yourself to be like the organization to come when it comes into environmental topic. So, but to become the organization to remember when it comes into the environmental topic, you have to have a good brand, like the Red Cross example. If you have a good brand, people are always gonna come into you. The second benefit is, I think, economic value. Your brand is your intangible asset. Even though it's intangible, it has a lot of value on it. So when you have a good brand, it will give you a competitive advantage when you come into, when you try to get a resource that is like every other organization also want to get it when it comes into donation, when it comes into a voluntary service, when it comes into public attention. All this are all this you can easily win it if you have a very strong and well-developed brand. So as an organization, branding is also very, very important. Let's talk about value proposition. We'll finish like in 5 minutes. So sorry for so it gets a little bit longer, I think. A value proposition is a very clear statement that offers two things. The first one is relevancy, which means that explain how your product solve or service solve your customer's problem, or how that improve their experience. So this is the one thing that your value proposition show. The second thing is definitely going to differentiate you from the other competitors. it tells your customers why they have to come and buy to you. So this is the two things that a value proposition is providing for your business. Your value proposition has to be the first thing visitors must to see when it comes when they come to your website, brochure, or any social media page, or all the major platforms related to your business activities. You have to make sure that people can read it and understand it, so it makes it easier and very visible. Let's talk about what the value proposition is not about. You have to remember, value proposition is not just a slogan or a catchy phrase. You do not need to pick a popular phrase that have nothing to do with your business. This is not a value proposition. Your value proposition needs to be aligned with your business value and mission. The value proposition is usually including a headline that shows that shows what is in benefit. The value proposition is usually including the headline. It could show what is in benefit of your product. It could be also have some sub-headlines of 2-3 sentences, paragraph, a specific explanation of what you actually offer, for whom and why it is useful, and so on and so forth. So if you want to also use a visual expression that you can add on it. The best value proposition is very clear, and that answer to whom the product and service is, how it is useful for them, and for most importantly, what is actually the product is. I personally encourage you to evaluate your current value proposition by checking whether it answers this question. The first one is, what product or service is your company is selling? The second one is, who is your target customer for this product or service? And the third one is, what makes your offering unique and different? If you can't answer this question with your current value proposition, you need to revise it and see and fit it into the current values that you are giving to your customers. So it's very important. I'm gonna give you here tips. You always need to think about kind of to add a value for your customers. Some values that can add that come into your favor. In case you and your competitors' product and service are almost similar, you need to somehow to grab your customer attention, and adding this very small value add stuffs will gonna help you to win your competitors that actually not offering this kind of additional value to your customers. Things such as free shipping or next day shipping, or free no setup fee, or that kind of stuff really helps for people, and it's gonna give you more competitive advantage when it comes into product and service that are very similar to the rest of your competitors, and you have a very small market to do. So think about something that really good to you and go with it. Well, this will be the end of the lecture. Thank you for attending this online lecture. I hope you learned something. Please check our social media and website for upcoming events. Our website is www.mctc.mfa.gov.il. It's our website. Thank you so much again, and I really appreciate that you stayed up to the end, and I hope that you learned something out of it.